12-team Superflex PPR 1.75 tight end premium start 10. Chris Olave and a playoff 24 first, or CD Lamb and a 24 third. Go ahead, Scott.
Man, the war says I should probably just take the better player with CD Lamb. I should take the production in a start 10. I'm going to bring the caveat to the table of what can I do with that first? Do I have another hole? Can I go trade it for a running back? I think we're getting to a point where you can probably acquire most veterans for a first. We're getting to that period of the season where the person that has Christian McCaffrey or Stephon Diggs is truly having to make an assessment of, can I contend? And if they can't, this is the time where you can get that random McCaffrey or random Diggs for a first. And you're going 3 weeks ago would have cost you more. But now the person's up against it. There's only one buyer. Can I go do something like that with the first? And if so, I'm fine actually selling Lamb for this package, even if I'm contending. If this is the only deal that's going to be on the table and I'm 9-2, I'm okay taking the Lamb side because you are giving up a late first.
Where you at, Shane?
Yeah,
Chris Olave, does this one tug at your heartstrings?
It does, right? But partly why we do process all the time is so that you can have assets to make moves like this when it's crunch time, when it's, pull it out, throw it on a table and make it look big time. You want to win a title. And right now, I love Chris Olave. Love him probably more than my older son, not the younger one, definitely the older one. But he's not giving me what Lamb's giving me this year. Now, next year, will I feel bad when Olave bounces back and is crushing CD? Probably, but I might be able to buy Olave back in the offseason anyway before that happens. So I'm going to take Lamb and try to win me a title.
Let's put this one up. So Brock Purdy was on the thumbnail of this live stream. Can Brock Purdy get you all the way up to Patty Mahomes? Let's see. Scott, we'll start with you. 12-team Superflex PPR, no tight end premium in this one, and it's a start 9. Brock Purdy, Garrett Wilson, and a 24 first, early/mid, or Patrick Mahomes.
Can it get you there? Maybe. Mahomes has struggled a little bit. He's not been a difference maker, but he's still a very insulated asset. And honestly, if Mahomes can do what he's doing now, imagine when they actually build a team around him, when they focus on building an offense around them. So I think this is a fair offer, especially after Purdy's last game. You're throwing in a early, at least you're going to paint it as an early first in the deal, even if it ends up being 105, 106. You're still going to paint it as, hey, that could be the 102, Shane. That could be the 102, could be the 103 if things break right. And Garrett Wilson, another guy that's not helping you right now. So I'm okay sending this offer, but I could also see it rejected and just say the person with Mahomes is not interested in this type of deal. But I think it's not an insulting offer at all. I know you've been shopping a couple of Mahomes, Clay. If you got this offer, you're not going to throw a tantrum that it's a low ball. Like, it's probably going to be one of the better offers you're going to get. It just depends on, do you really want to take it?
Yeah, in one of the leagues that I have Mahomes, it's one of our deep listener leagues. I would definitely take the Purdy package on that team. Shane, where are you at on this one, man? You were shaking your head before we started the show. Shane actually saw this 30 seconds before the show, believe it or not. Patrick Mahomes had Tank Dell on that side too, but are you still not even giving away Mahomes for this?
Yeah, here's a couple things, right? And I'm just going to show a message because I have those rights for now. No QB is worth that much. I disagree by about 1,000 squared. Now, in our listener leagues, we'll give it some context. Those are 14 team, and I think it's 14 team.
One's a 16, one's a 14, one's a 12.
One's right. So 16, 14, this package, that's the best you'll ever get for Mahomes. And yes, I would do it. In start 9, you're going to need to do better. I love Garrett Wilson. I like me 24 firsts. Purdy, I'm all on the Purdy train. I'll say that right now. I definitely wasn't at the beginning of the year, but I'm definitely on that train now. But this wouldn't be enough to get it done in a start 9.
I want to ask Shane this question real quick because I agree with you. It wouldn't be enough to get it done. But in a start 9, does that also, because in your mindset, what is a must that has to be in this deal if you're trading Mahomes, Shane? You probably don't even want 3 pieces, right? But if you do, what is a must? What is one of the pieces have to be for you to even entertain the offer?
Top 8 wide receiver. Producing. Probably higher than that. Probably top 6 producing wide receiver right now.
A lot of people would have Garrett Wilson in the top 8, just not right this second because he's not producing.
I'm making this deal. It's about production, right? Because it's a start 9. I'm not making this deal. I'm assuming I'm making this deal. The Garrett Wilson wouldn't get there for me. Not this year. Not this year.
So value, you don't care about value in this deal. If someone offers you Joe Burrow, Garrett Wilson in the first, you're not interested, right?
No. Well,
so
again, I'm assuming.
Is your pool of players extremely limited that could get this deal done then? I guess that's what I'm going for. It's like the person trying to buy Mahomes, how many teams in the league even have what you would be willing to offer? And how many of them are stepping up and saying, hey, I have Kyler Murray. I'm willing to include him in the deal. It's like, maybe, is there even a fit?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Most likely not. It's a very niche situation where that kind of trade goes down. What's up, Shane?
Niche. He said niche. Yeah, and we're definitely at that part of the season where only certain people can actually make specific offers to you that you can even entertain. Because you know what I mean? In the beginning of the year, everything's wide open. Everyone's a buyer, seller. The market's wide open. Now it is definitely limited to what you can, certain teams you can do certain things with.
So likely everyone in the crowd knows this lingo at this point, but for everyone listening on replay, you're going to hear us say start 9, start 10, start 11 a million times. What we're talking about is how many players you start each week in your lineup, not including kicker and defense. So the gist is a start 8, start 9, that's shallow where you want hammers. Start 10, 11, 12, or start 11 and 12 is where depth matters. Start 10 is where we live, kind of a middle of the pack. So let's keep moving here. Adam, thank you for the super chat earlier today, 3:30 p.m. 12-team start 10, Superflex PPR, trade the 101 and Bryce Young for Burrow and a mid-third. Trying to make it a second. QBs are Stroud and Young, running backs, Keaton and a bunch of cans. Wide receivers, Pickens, Dell, Rice, Tillman, cans. McBride at tight end. 4 firsts in total and 4 seconds. What do you think here? That's a lot. The 101 and Bryce for Burrow and a third, huh?
I mean, and here's the reality. His team sucks. If you look at the roster, it's not probably winning anything now. So why are you in a rush to move the 101? And I'm not even a fan of Bryce Young, but we did a Bryce Young video. It can't get any worse. And you're moving it for an injured asset that you're not flipping Joe Burrow for any more than this right now. So it just doesn't make sense to make this deal right now. I'd consider maybe in the offseason, if you really wanted to not draft a rookie QB, you could trade the 101 for Burrow. I'd be fine with that. But right now, why are you in a rush to do this right now? Doesn't this feel like a deal in 4 months that it's on the table as well, Shane? In 4 months, as long as there's a clear 101, which there's going to be,
right? Why
even rush to do this right now? Just maybe this was an idea before the injury. I don't know. But right now, it makes no sense to give up your 101.
Yeah, no, I don't like this even a little bit. This is being too cute by half. You've already got Bryce Young, who through the rest of the year could redeem his value. We've seen it. It doesn't take a lot. It takes like 4 good games, and we go, that's the Bryce Young I remember. Now, is that likely to happen? Not unless Frank Reich gets fired. They replace the offensive line and get him some offensive weapons in the last 6 weeks. So very unlikely. But that 101, could be anything. It could be Caleb. It could be Drake May, although I got to feel like it's going to be Drake May by the time the draft rolls around. But more importantly, it's a liquid asset that I can do more things with. I could break it up into multiple pieces, So like Scott said, I'm no reason for me to make this move right now.
Yeah, so he gave us a $20 super chat here. Scott, you've got 40 seconds. What are you doing with this team? Go.
I mean, it's rough, really, besides Bryce and the 101, you have a lot of even replaceable pieces. I mean, you do have Stroud, so you have one quarterback already in place. Other than that, though, I'd be somebody that says, can I move any of the other players? Can I move Tank Dell? Can I move Trey McBride? Like, I'm not opposed to shuffling around assets, seeing if you can, because what does this team lack? Overall value, right? It's got some picks. It's got a quarterback, but other than that, it doesn't really have a framework of a team that's going to be able to win next year or even build into a team so that you can win next year. So can I attack some value that is in the form of injured players, draft picks? Like you want Tank Dell, you want George Pickens. Now that they fired their OC, you want Trey McBride, you want Keaton Mitchell. You know what I mean? Like I'll take the loss now because my team's terrible. Any way I can gain a little value or split an asset right now, I'm down for it.
Yeah, I just want more assets on this team. This is a 2025 team at best, so I would not be using the 101 in that fashion. Let's keep moving here. Appreciate that super chat, Adam. Let's go to one from Sean. Sean was talking with Shane, saying he was going to send this one in. Thank you very much, Sean. So one of two, 12 team start 9, half PPR. Lamar, Watson, Carr, Goff, Bijan, JT, Gibbs, Kamara, Moss, Algier, 53-man cans. Tyreek, that's really good. Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Olave, Cup, JSN, D-Hop, Kelsey, and Njoku at tight end. 19-3, so playing against the league median. The Garrett Wilson owner, which is the second best team, let me know he's available. I'd love to have him alongside JSN and Olave. Should I move Tyreek Hill for Garrett Wilson? Could I win without Hill? Is a plus required on the other side? So let's start with that. And then he asked about Lamar. So what do you think about that, Garrett Wilson? Move Tyreek for Garrett Wilson on this team? I'll put the roster back up for you.
Shane can go because he's as soon as you proposed that, his head was going no.
I already told Sean. So I already told Sean when we were DMing. He wanted to get some other opinions on this. He knows I said I'm not doing this. 6 months ago, sure, give me Garrett Wilson. Now that things have happened this year, Tyreek Hill's the QB1 in fantasy football. No, I'm not doing this. Could you win
with this? 19-3, man. What are we doing?
Lots of things could happen, right? Like those model looking chicks that I swipe right on Bumble. They could swipe right back. They don't, but in theory they could. So yes, technically you could win, but no, I'm not making this deal.
I'm torn because I'm okay exploring the deal. I'm not doing it straight up because I don't have to.
It's
right?
a conversation.
This is a second place team that would love to get Tyreek. And of course, he's trying to shop the guy that's not going to produce because his quarterback is actually getting worse, which is difficult to happen. But I think Tim Boyle's going to end up being worse than Zach Wilson. But I'm wondering, can Sean's team win with what he has? Because I'm looking at it, I like Lamar, but there's always questions. Is Lamar going to last the rest of the year? You never know. His second QB is he can ride with Goff. You're fine riding with Goff. You got too many running backs on this team. And I'm guessing he's probably looking at it as half PPR. Man, I need all these running backs, but I got a lot of volatility with running back right now. I'm holding JT. I'm holding Kamara. I mean, Kupp just got injured. So it's one of those where it's a gamble. You could come out right on the other side and win and get the deal for Garrett Wilson. And maybe you could even get like a 25 first on top of it. And then you're really licking your chops because you just moved a guy that you made a plus EV deal on and you still won the championship. But I could also see it where I trade Tyreek. That guy beats me. I don't win. He does. Oh, well.
So let's weave this second part in, see how it fits. So tier down from Lamar plus he has Kyler Murray, Dak, and Sam Howell to get him and a QB.
I mean, you're not really tearing down from Lamar if you go to Lamar to Kyler, and then I really don't want to tear down to those other QBs he has. Yeah. I'd be willing to tear up.
Exactly. That's what I would be doing is trying to attach one of these running backs to, how
about this, Shane? He gives Kyler Murray and Garrett Wilson. You give Jared Goff and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. If I'm giving Jared Goff up and tearing up at quarterback like that, I can do that. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one where that, if that inbox offer came to me, like if I sent you that, Clay, I'm giving you Goff and Tyreek, and you're giving me Garrett Wilson and Kyler, and we're the top two teams. That's one where you kind of got to really pick your side, right? Like that's a tough one to assess.
That is. I mean, I'd like to think I'd go Kyler side like fairly quickly, but different story. I mean, Tyreek is a freaking monster, man, and half PPR irrelevant when it comes to Tyreek Hill. Okay, so let's go to, let's put this one up from Joe R that starred here. Scott, you're in the middle of working on a roster construction series, a new one. He says, are there any roster construction changes you would make as a contender gearing up for the playoffs? 12-team, start 10, super flex, 30-man rosters. Do you have enough to go off of here, Scott? Or I guess, can you talk roster construction for contenders?
I mean, I don't know his roster. So
Just from a
I don't
broad,
know.
I'd say just from a broad.
Yeah.
I saw this
Okay.
in there, and I thought,
Like-
let's say my roster's a little leaky. It's not correct. It's not correctly calibrated. What can I do? What moves can I make as far as roster construction to get it calibrated before the playoffs?
Your webcam needs to be calibrated.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. It just does that for
Blurry
no reason.
McBlurs.
Yeah. Okay, so really, really kind of high level, I would probably look to where I'm inefficient at positions that don't matter. So we don't know the tight end premium here, but I don't want to be carrying extra tight ends. I'm okay carrying running backs or quarterbacks that I could fill in if I have an injury, especially if you have a trade deadline. A lot of people have trade deadlines week 12, by Thanksgiving, meaning they can't bail themselves out for the next 4 weeks after that if there's an injury, 5 weeks after that. So where are you most likely going to feel pain if you don't have the right depth? It's probably going to be running back, but it's also probably going to be quarterback. So I'm looking at, do I have players on my roster in a start 10? And I'm just going to throw out names. So if anybody disagrees, then whatever. But names like KJ Osborne, Michael Gallup, they're just cuts. You just cut them.
Yep.
Pick up CJ Beathard instead. Literally, the backup quarterbacks are more important than those guys. You're never putting those guys in a lineup. And if you're in your semifinals, Shane, and you're starting Michael Gallup, what is your status? Probably in trouble, right?
Bad.
Yes. So yeah, cut the waste at tight end, cut the waste at wide receiver, focus on really any running back that could get a job, any quarterback that could be in with an injury. That should be probably 2/3 of your roster going into the playoffs.
Nice. Okay, so let's put this up from Sean real quick. He says, new to the Discord, much happier after joining. That is all. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, it's kick-ass. We're having a lot of fun at the Discord. Appreciate everyone who's joined.
I got to be honest with you. I think that's one of the underrated things that we do in Discord is I've been told that I make people's lives brighter because I am a ray of sunshine and that I bring nothing but joy to their world. So that's an underrated reason to join the Discord.
It is. Okay, guys, let's go to this one right here. Speaking of Discord, this is Ben from it. Two-headed boy 22. Discord, yada, yada. Trade deadline this week. Burrow owner won't do Burrow for T-Law straight up. This is a 12-team Superflex start 10 rebuild. Here was his counter. Give T-Law and Jaden Reed. Get Burrow and Gabe Davis. Rebuild. Scott's on mute. Come on, rookie.
I actually didn't have anything to say. I was just sitting here kind of reacting.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've already talked about I don't think T-Law is elite. He had his best game ever last week. I think at 34 points. Good for him. Very exciting stuff. Really stoked about that. But I would still take Burrow all day over him. I like Jaden Reed. But Gabe Davis is fine for grade the Burrow here. So I'm taking Burrow, and I'm getting an actual elite quarterback, not one that just was supposed to be elite.
Yeah, this is one if you really can stomach just giving the receiver for the receiver, you're just betting that Jaden Reed is anything more than a decent receiver because Gabe Davis is that at best. And I think that the Gabe Davis time is probably coming to an end very soon. But you still don't have – the other guy doesn't have the leverage here, though. That's the thing is, if a Burrow manager comes to me and says, I'm interested in T-Law, but they say they will not do it straight up, and they need the quarterback. Like, if I was on the other end of that, I'd be like, all right, I'll give up Burrow for T-Law. Even if I have T-Law a little bit lower. You know what I mean? Like, that feels like one of those where you're caving and they're strong arming you saying, no, I need the advantage at receiver. No, I might hold out a little bit.
No. Yeah, that's a misinterpretation of leverage by that in that trade there. Okay, so let's put Greg's question there is pretty good. Matt West asked, thank you for the super chat. Are we really selling Tank Dell? I would hold for anything but at least an early first. Convince me otherwise, or do you agree? So Matt, if you're in here, give us the format for this. That would help us. But Scott, we'll start with you. Let's just say it's our stock format, and then you can just talk about Tank Dell. We were talking about him in the Discord yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, an early first, you're starting to get to the point where you're getting more than even a reroll back for a better profile, you know, like, and if you're talking a mid to late first, I can see where people would say, you know what, I'm just going to hold on to Tank Dell. But from a early first perspective, there's just too much I can do with that pick. Not only drafting different players at different positions, but having access to receivers that have even better profiles. Now, are they going to have CJ Stroud? Or are they going to have the situation Tank Dell does? I don't know. But yeah, early first, no. I think that's not the liquidation price, put it that way. If someone offered you a first and you said I took the first, I wouldn't blame you. But if someone's coming to the table with a top 4 pick, then I don't. You're never getting that. So yeah, I think that you're a little bit over your skis on the price. I'd say it's more like a mid to late first at best.
Yeah, you get an early first for Tank. You have to take it, but that's not a slight on him. That's most wide receivers. That's most players in general. Outside of the elite ones. Tank's very interesting. We talked about him talked about him a lot in the Heisman chat last night. Unfortunately, Scott forced me to work, so I couldn't jump in. But I also dove into Tank Dell and Nico Collins in my Follow the Volume article that just dropped today. Just literally just dropped while we were doing this. But I honestly legitimately don't know what I'm doing with him. I'll say this. I would like to use him to tier up if I could to a piece that I feel, a wide receiver that I feel is more certain. But it's hard to come against Tank Dell right now.
Would you give up Tank Dell and a call it random 25 first for? Can you get CD? I don't know if that's enough to get CD, right? Who could you get that you would want? Who's scoring a lot of points?
Garrett Wilson. Those aren't scoring a lot of points.
Yeah, I mean, would you want to do that right now, Scott? Yes, Shane would, yeah. So I mean, it's Tank Dell and a 25 first, call it random, or Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave.
Yeah, I don't think you would be able to get that deal from anybody because those guys just were in the midst of its production season, and we're in the midst of, if you're not an elite producing receiver, then you're all thrown into the same bucket. As soon as we get done with the season, we're going to then start tiering receivers again and going, man, that would have been a great deal, you know? So I don't think that deal's even on the table. If I had Tank Dell and a 25 first, I'm not going and buying those guys right now, because what extra am I getting other than, okay, I have Chris Olave at the end of the year.
Exactly.
So no,
yeah,
he's a tough one. I would ask everybody that's subscribed to the website, destinationdevy.com, go to the Trinity tracker and play around with the wide receivers and look where Tank Dell fits in there historically. Look in there where he fits with other players of similar value. And it's fair to say he should be a top 24 receiver, but I can sit there and I compare him to Jordan Addison. And I go, it's much closer than it should be, right? Jordan Addison's wide receiver 10 in Dynasty, and Tank Dell is not. Yet go try to get the same price that you could for Tank Dell for Jordan Addison. I think people may even want Tank Dell over Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's really, if you start looking at it through that lens, then he's undervalued. But then if I say Tank Dell is wide receiver 14 in Dynasty, Shane's going to probably say he's overvalued. You know what I mean? Like the whole range is overvalued at this point in the season.
Let's go to Dax here. We've got a starred inbox offer, and he's got the Charmander Pokemon avatar, I believe. That's who somebody confirmed it is. 14 team start 11 Superflex, half PPR, full PPR for tight ends. Give Burrow, get Brock Purdy in the 114.
Start 11.
14 teamer. So the loss of Burrow is probably even more painful.
Ouchie.
Yeah.
Do you know how many starters that is? It's 158.
Close.
Well,
subtract 4 from that. You got it.
It's so close. It's so close.
Only off by 4. That's not that bad.
Close enough.
What do you
tried
think
to carry some numbers over and it just didn't compute.
I was using that new math. I would be fine with taking Purdy in the 114 in this format. I'm going for it. I think Purdy's closer to elite than not elite, is what I'm telling you by saying I'll take this deal.
Yeah, I think there's only a window of time during the year where you'd even consider this. And if you want to do it, I mean,
The time is now.
Sure.
He's scoring points.
Shane, do you care what the 114 can do, or is it deep enough where you say the 114 can give me a starter somewhere?
That's
Exactly.
more. The 114 is a starter. Hopefully, I can add the 114 in a second and go use that to get a starter right now for the playoff push. But if not, I've got a 114 when somebody gets all creamy over the draft class and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe he fell to 114." Yeah, maybe I can move it then.
So, real quick theory question: would you add a 25 first? Assuming it's a late 25 first because you have a good team, would you add 114 in the late 25 first to go get Ayuk and pair him with Purdy?
I would love to do that. Absolutely love it.
So you'd spend to late first essentially for Ayuk in that in a start 11-14 team, huh?
If once the 114, I mean, we'll just say.
And you just traded for Brock Purdy, so you're hitting what could be the league-winning stack.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I like it. I
talked about I shared the link in here. I talked about that and follow the volume as well. I talked about Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel and George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey. I'll just say this: Brandon Ayuk's that dude.
Yeah, no, he's good. No, yeah, go over to destinationdevy.com, sign up for that website, check out all the tools, Trinity Tracker and all. It's a dope ass tool, as Ray would say. Let's go to another inbox trade here from John from earlier. 12-team start 9 Superflex PPR 1.5 for tight ends, currently in second place. Give KW, Addison, JSN, and Kincaid. Get JT, Henry, Lamb, Smith, and Freiermuth. No brainer except, right?
Yeah, what are we waiting on here?
What are we doing here,
JT over Kenneth Walker. Give me Jordan Addison over, give me Devontae Smith over Jordan Addison.
Lamb
CD Lamb over Dalton Kincaid and JSN combined.
And whatever else is left.
I get Pat Freiermuth for free. Okay, cool. Yeah. And he's giving me Derrick Henry for free.
I mean, honestly, I tell him to keep Pat Freiermuth. Oh, it's 1.5. Yeah.
Keep Pat Freiermuth.
Keep Pat Freiermuth. Can I get a second instead?
Otherwise, that's a risky. That's the kind of move that ends up squashing the deal. And you're like, damn it.
No, not maybe for you.
It's and depending on how I'm roster constructing, I may actually just say I'm okay rolling with Pat Freiermuth. But yeah, I'm with you. If that's in my inbox, I'm accepting. I'm not going to go, hey, can you send that back without this and this and this and just include some picks instead? And then the guy goes, wait a second. Clay was about to smash accept that deal. Maybe I should rethink what I'm offering. I've had that happen before.
100%, man. It's risky to like fight over thirds and stuff. I'd say 25% of the time it ends up spooking the other person.
Shane would accept it, and then half the guys he just got would be on the block. Jonathan Taylor would be on the block. Pat Freiermuth would be on the block. Get rid of them all.
The players are not given a locker. It's like keep your bag packed. Here's where you're gonna be, but
it's like the Washington.
You might be on the move.
It's like the Washington locker room. Like, no, you can't take a shower here. You need to get going.
Go ahead and put him on mute there. Yeah, that sucks, doesn't it? Let's go to A-Town 21 from our Discord. In 11th, but second in points for. No kidding. Draft order determined by record. Should I be trading D-Hop, Kyron, Singletary, etc. for literally anything just to shed points? Or should I still hold out for proper value?
No, man, so we're in 11th place and we're second in points for.
Wait, this is the one that you're in with A-Town? I didn't mute you. Oh, Scott definitely muted you.
I did not mute Shane.
No. We talked to A-Town about this, and it's determined by record. So just get rid of them. Just get rid of them. Get that early pick because your team's probably good if it's second in points scored. So either way, you want to get the best pick you possibly can. So just go ahead and trade these dudes.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where that's hard to fathom that you're second in points for, but 11th in record. You must have just hit the schedule perfectly wrong, and now it's too far gone to not play for the 101 or the 102. So, yeah, I think you got to how do you go about doing that? You have guys like Kyron Williams, Devin Singletary, DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, that you cannot afford a game where you don't get what you want for them, and then you win, and then you're now at the 104. You know what I mean?
I'm packaging them. Yeah. And so even if I'm losing on the total value of the package, I'm not trying to sell them separately.
Would you take a second and a third for all three?
Fine.
Yes.
You could get a first, but I'll take a second and a third.
I don't think you can get a first. I think you probably have to sell them maybe
probably
2
get 2
seconds for the
seconds.
3. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that a 24 and a 25. I would spam it. I wouldn't wait for Thanksgiving to get here and then no one sees your offer and then you're stuck with Devin Singletary in your lineup again. Like I would send it to anybody that has 2 seconds. I don't care if it's 25 and 26. I would just send it out aggressively.
Yep. That's what I was doing with Jalen Warren. That I ended up trading Jalen Warren and what do you call that other guy? The Washington Commanders quarterback, Sam Howell. Probably a little lighter than I could have.
That was a layup for a contender, Shane. You did very well to feed him 3 starters for 25.
Wait, sorry. What trade was this? It was our leagues.
OGs.
Our league? OGs.
Yeah, he gave up Jalen Warren, Sam Howell, and another starter, Luke Musgrave, in a 2 PP or 1.75 PPR for a 25 first, which is currently the 113.
25 first? Because I didn't think that was determined yet.
It was a 25. Well,
okay.
The first 25 that I have.
What do I say?
Okay.
Trade
25 first that is random. Yes. So 25 first. Yes.
Trade out 2 years out, right? 2 years out. I'm trying to secure. I can't get any lower than 103. It's going to take a miracle of God, but I can at least hold on to the 103.
Yep. Good luck there, sir. Yeah, that other side, that's quite a score. Maybe. Anthony, thank you for the super chat. 12-team Superflex half PPR start 11 startup season. In fourth, QB Dak, T-Law, Baker, Minshew. At running backs, JJ, James Cook, Ty Chandler, Antonio Gibson. Wide receivers, CD, Garrett Wilson, Puka, DK, Godwin, Flowers. At tight end, the Muth and Conklin. No 24 first or second. Have all my 25 and 6 picks. What to do before the Sunday trade deadline? In fourth, 12-team, start 11, half PPR.
Well, we have no picks except for our going into 25 and 26. So we have nothing next year that we can throw into a deal. So we're mortgaging a second year here. If we want to upgrade anywhere, it is a start 11. I tend to like his starting lineup, honestly. You know, you can throw in Jacobs, Cook, all those receivers. I'm okay. You could do way worse than Dak and T-Law with Baker as a third and Minshew as a fourth. And then your tight end. I just talked about it on Destination Dynasty. If you're stuck at tight end, don't waste spots on tight end. So hopefully all he has is Freiermuth and Conklin, and he's just starting one of them, barring you can't upgrade. Yeah. So maybe, would you go try to trade maybe Freiermuth for, just thinking out loud here, could you trade Freiermuth for Jake Ferguson? Could you throw something in and get Jake Ferguson for Freiermuth? Could you throw in a 25 second?
That's what I was going to say.
Just feed the stack. It gives me a little more upside on a weekly basis. I already have CD, Dak, CD, Ferguson. That trio could be a league-winning stack in the playoffs. I'm just thinking of ways to gain extra points without really like adding a first to a player for a short-term upgrade.
Yeah, if it just takes a second to get up to Jake Ferguson from Pat Freiermuth, does he play football anymore? But if it takes a second to move from Pat Freiermuth to Jake Ferguson, I would do that. I'm not willing to obviously to add anything like a first to it because that's just getting a little too much for me.
So let's just look at this again real quick because it's Sunday trade deadline. QB, you're good at QB there. T-Law, Dak, Baker, that's fine. Running backs can get away with those for sure. You doing anything else? No 24 first or second.
I mean, a tricky thing you could look at is if you want to upgrade somewhere, does a team need a quarterback? I'd be willing to trade Baker and roll with Gardner the rest of the year. Mm-hmm. If I have to play Minshew, I'm okay, but I don't really need to have Minshew and Baker. Effectively, they're the same thing. One may have a better shot at a job next year, but really they're the same thing for my roster. So if I could move, here's what I'd do. I don't know the rest of his roster. I don't know what's on waivers. I don't know the trade market or anything. I'd be willing to shop Baker. I'd be willing to shop a second. Where can I marginally upgrade? I'd be grabbing a bunch of running backs because he's a Josh Jacobs injury from being screwed on this team too.
Right.
And Josh Jacobs hasn't had his bye. James Cook hasn't had his bye. So, I mean, you're at a spot where like you're thin at running back unless your roster constructed right. You know what I mean? Like, unless you know I can add a bunch of bodies at running back and a bunch of bodies at quarterback, then I really don't want to sell my future picks. Maybe I can get creative and sell somebody Baker, or I can sell somebody on, a second upgrade somewhere.
Yeah, I like it. We are 35 minutes in. We're going to say hey to the crowd, hey to the 335 eyeballs in here. Thanks for joining. Happy Thanksgiving week. You'll notice in the top right corner there, we have DIDIT. DIDIT is something we will explain more, but you're going to be able to one-on-one live chat with us on a sweet platform. So we'll get to that, but download the DIDIT app and find me on there. Shane and Scott will be on there soon.
Tomorrow. I just want to tell you how
Tomorrow.
committed I am to the fantasy community. I hate all things Apple because I think they are for sheep. And my iPad just came in the mail today because you have to use iOS for DIDIT. So
Yes, you do.
yeah.
Yes, you do. And Shane got dominated by his iPad earlier. Okay, let's go to Cody B here. This thing is like, oh, why'd I get shipped to this guy? 10-team PPR, start 10, 2 QB, Dak, Pat Mahomes, Love, Breece Hall, Gibbs, Devontae Adams, Tank Dell, Zay Flowers, Cortland Sutton, Pitts. I have 3 firsts. I'm 5-6. I'm 1 win out of the playoffs. What moves do you make?
So it's super shallow, but it's 2 QB. How many hammers do we have on this team, Shane?
We've got the Gibbs.
Is Tank Dell a hammer?
No. Adams.
Is Breece Hall a hammer? Not right now.
With Tim Boyle back there, anything is possible. So I'm going to go right now. We've got Gibbs and we've got Adams.
Shane, this is all you, man. You've got 3 firsts to play with this team. You're going for it, dude. What do you?
And we do have Dak and Pat Mahomes.
Yeah,
I'm okay.
We got some fire. We got some firepower.
Yeah, I mean,
this.
I wouldn't mind seeing what I can add to Dell. What could Dell in a first get me? What can a first and Sutton get me? I'll hold on to one of my firsts. Can I find someone in my league that thinks Pitts is good at football or worth anything and see if I can use him?
Can I get Kelsey? Apparently he's struggling and is going to retire soon.
Yeah.
Well, he's definitely going to retire. I keep telling you guys, there's no way.
At some point in life, he will retire.
Next year, he's on the Errors Tour, Part 2 with Taylor Swift, and he's a dancer for her. I'm telling you, he's gone.
So you giving up Pitts and one of those first for Travis Kelsey and another usable piece. You do that.
I would just try to give up. I would just try to give up first for Kelsey straight up. I would just.
You want Pitts and Kelsey on this roster?
I mean, why not? Why not? Pitts is going to get a value bump. We know it's going to happen. So, what? Why are you shaking your head, sir?
No.
There's going to be some narrative.
I would see
season.
I'm fine using
it.
No, it's not. I'd use a first on Kelsey. I trade Pitts for any usable piece because he's not usable, and I don't care if he comes out and has a 5 for 50 game next week. He'll still be Geno Smith's backup.
I thought you said Geno Smith.
You did.
Jonnu Smith.
I said Jonnu.
You did that time.
It was that Philly accent that confused Geno and Jonnu.
See, if Jonnu was listening, he would have understood because he's from Philly.
Yeah, we got some funny things on here. I'll throw real quick. Jordan Richards says, almost too much sexy on this screen. Bunch of hi friends, Hammer, this and that. We love you guys. Appreciate it. Sandford, it's the Hammer crew. All right, let's keep rolling, guys. So let's go to Devin Stales. Thank you very much for the super chat. 12-team, Superflex, half PPR, start 10, 6-point per passing touchdown. Lost Burrow on a contender with Howell and Levis as my other QBs. Smart to trade Levis and 2 seconds for a QB Dak /Goff /Purdy range.
That's beyond smart. That's galaxy brained. And I don't mean that in the condescending, too smart for the room way that a lot of analysts use it when they're writing shit. That's straight up a good move, dude. I don't know what you're doing. Yes, go get Purdy, go get Dak. I don't care which one. Honestly, flip a coin.
Would you do it for Goff?
Yeah, would you do it for Goff? You skipped the name there.
I would do it for Goff too, but when I have Purdy and Dak, there's no reason to. Like, I don't need to go to the ugly chick. I got 2 hot chicks that are coming at me. I don't have to go to
start with the hot chicks.
Right, exactly.
Who's the hottest chick right there?
I think it's Dak. I don't know. It might be Purdy. They're different. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, one's thick and I like them thick, but the other's kind of slim and bendy. I like all those things. So it's just really pick your flavor, whichever has the better schedule, I think, for quarterbacks on the rest of the season.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
Dak
gonna
has
be
been
so good.
awesome this year,
Yeah.
and their offense has really transformed over the last 5 weeks to being a throw-first offense. So, Dak and Purdy, you almost got to put them in the top 12 by default. I mean,
Yes.
Shane earlier was saying he'd give up Burrow for Purdy in a little bit. So, I mean, if you're going for it, you're going for it. You lost Burrow here, make that deal.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to Darth Dookie here. And he's got a separate super chat that says corrections. Okay, so let me see what to read first here. Okay, 10-team PPR, and thank you for the super chat. 10-team PPR start 8, currently 5-6, along with 75% of the league. It's one of those. Burrow, ETN, James Cook, Jamar Chase, Chris Olave, Mike Evans, Andrews, Thielen, JSN or London. What is or London? Okay. I traded Pickens and Mike Evans for 2025 first, 224 seconds, and a 25 second. I put Andrews. Okay. What do you think? What do you think of that trade? I haven't read this other part yet. Seeing as I just lost Burrow, Chase, and Andrews, it's really a shallow league. I figured stanking is the best method. I traded London and James Cook for my 24 first Pickens and a 25 first. Okay, does that make sense? Can you clean this up, Scott?
And then, I'm going to go to the tab so I can see all of the 3 parts. So the original one was a 2-parter, 10-team start 8, where he's 5-6. But I'm assuming he's saying I'm out of it because I'm 5-6 and I have all these injuries now. I've just got decimated. I mean that's Burrow, Chase, and Andrews in one weekend. That's tough in a shallow league. You're not going to be able to replace it. So basically, he's moving towards tanking. I mean, really, everything can go probably aside from those 3 and Olave. Everything else can go. James Cook can go. Evans
this is a great trade. I traded Pickens and Mike Evans for a 25 first, 224 seconds, and a 25 second.
Yeah, I mean, Pickens is almost outside of mattering in a shallow league like that. And Mike Evans, I mean, are you ever getting more than what you got in this deal? I mean, this is but I can also see why someone would pay this because there's probably very few usable players available if everybody's clustered at 5-6. Everybody's going, oh, I can get that last spot. I'm not trading Mike Evans for a second. So he found a buyer. And I think that's an example of you want to be the first to make the decision to sell and you get the best price because the first buyer is going to come to you like, hey, I'm willing to buy. Like, I'd rather do that than because guess what? He doesn't have anything to really sell. And that buyer probably doesn't have anything to buy with. So 2 people are now out of the trade market. So good move. Great move.
Good move. Okay, let's go to Beatbox Basics. That's hard to say, but I like it. Thank you for the super chat. What is that currency there? What is this $? Sign?
A for astronaut.
Definitely it. 12-team, start 8, 1 QB, half PPR, rebuild. Sorry, I have to stop. I have to laugh there for a second. I was picturing Brock Purdy and Dak with long hair and Liam turning them into hot chicks from that last trade.
Well,
yes,
so
that's
here's
where
the
my
thing.
mind. That's where my mind was going right there. As I was reading.
Every year, someone does that tweet where they're like, "Imagine them as a chick," and they throw long hair on a bunch of dudes, and a lot of the dudes are pretty hot, pretty much smoke show. So literally, all it takes is long hair. So throw some long hair on me, clean up my beard, maybe dye this so it's one color, and I'd be a pretty lady.
It would be.
I think his username just has a couple spaces and then an A. I think it's just 799.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I'm sitting here figuring out going.
We never did a $7.99 super chat. I didn't even know you could do that. This is interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I think
it's
I don't think it's a specific currency.
It's Australian.
It's Australian
dollar.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Well, good day,
That's
mate.
why you saw the what do they call it? A scoreigami when you see a score that you've never seen before. That's a super chat you've never seen before.
I think I am usually the one that I'm usually the one that makes up words, but I'm pretty sure you just
a scoreigami is what they call an NFL score that ends in a score that nobody has had happen before.
That feels like
not
a real thing. But anyway, let's get to the question.
So 12 teams, start 8, 1 QB, half PPR, rebuild. Quarterback is Murray. Running backs, ETN, Gibbs, Charbonnet. Wide receivers, Chase, Mike Williams, Tank Dell, Watson. Tight end is Hawkinson. Top 4 first and 5 seconds in 24. How to win in 2024. What do you think?
Well, Mike Williams probably shouldn't be on the list. He's a start 8. So you can remove him. Charbonnet probably can't get enough to trade him away at this point. So, I mean, it's what do you got? How many hammers here, Shane? Real true hammers. Maybe 3, 4. ETN, Gibbs, Kyler, Chase.
Chase and Gibbs.
I guess Hawkinson's a hammer. I mean, this is too good of a team to say I'm just not going to try to kind of run it back next year, but I want to try to upgrade, consolidate some of those picks plus extra players. Because, I mean, you got 5 probably top of their position players right now, if you count Kyler in there.
Yeah, so I'm going to turn off the super chats. Thank you to everyone who gave them to us. Let me just throw this out there, Shane. You can start. Charbonnet. What are you doing with him? Have you seen him traded at all? Thoughts?
I haven't seen him.
Put this up then. All right. Let me read this while I
read it, and then Shane can answer it within 2 seconds, and then he'll get to his actual question.
Eric asks, "Hey guys, I have someone willing to trade me Justin Jefferson for either Nico Collins or Tank Dell. Yes. I'm okay trading away either wide receiver. What do you think? I would go ahead and, just to be safe, put them both on that side for Justin Jefferson. I
was going to give him Tank Dell for Jefferson, and then go, okay, so what does Nico Collins get me? And raise your eyebrow like that and make that deal immediately.
And invite Shane to the league.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, your thoughts on Zack Charbonnet, Shane?
Yes.
Zack Charbonnet. I haven't heard an update on Ken Walker. How's his oblique feeling?
He's not going to play. I'm almost positive he's not going to play.
Charbonnet is going to smash, but this is kind of what we needed. We needed, unfortunately, Ken Walker to get hurt before he's going to get an opportunity. So when Ken Walker comes back, what's going to happen to Zack Charbonnet? At best, he's going to force a 50-50 split, and we're going to. If someone's
apparently
willing
the
to buy,
schedule sucks too. It's like San Francisco, Dallas, and then San Francisco again.
Yeah,
it's San Fran and Dallas back to back, which is that's a tough matchup for your spot start. So
yeah. So no one's offering you anything right now, to be honest with you. But
would you take a second?
No.
He's going to take a second because this is the window of you could not get a second before this. And now he's got a standalone spot start. So if you want out, do you just take the second?
Think he could have gotten a second, and no, because I still think he's one of those players that could play himself into a first. Say Ken Walker ever something significant happens to him, then all of a sudden Charbonnet's worth a first. You're taking the risk, obviously. Charbonnet's a running back. He's a grenade. He could explode himself, and then I'm left with nothing. But I'm willing to do that because I probably drafted him in 204 or something like that anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Clay, you take the reroll on Charbonnet? Because what do we always say? The window to sell him is in the next 1 to 2 weeks if you want to sell. If you're a little queasy and you're like, man, I just got him because he was there and I took him, but I'd rather have the draft capital versus a running back. What people do is they go, well, he's a standalone starter, so I need a second and a third, or I need 2 seconds. And then someone goes, no, I'm not starting him against Dallas and San Francisco. You can keep him. Then Ken Walker comes back, and then now you can't get a second anymore, and now you've lost your opportunity.
Oh, and apparently someone corrected us. And I think it's San Francisco, Dallas, then Philly. And Philly, outside of Isaiah Pacheco running all over them in the first half last night, has been a shutdown run defense.
And Ken Walker's coming back. He's not getting placed on IR. It's probably a 1 to 2 week injury, according to what came out today. So, I mean, it's not going to be Zack Charbonnet the rest of the year. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm just wondering, I don't think it's a terrible process. If you didn't really want him to begin with and you just took him, I'm okay taking a second now because this is the window to sell him. Someone will want him this week or next week.
Yeah, if you're just looking for an escape hatch, then take it. Definitely take it. You know what I mean? But if you were like, you know what, I'll risk it a little bit, let him sit on my roster. Maybe this oblique strain takes longer to heal. All I know is the only time I've ever heard of oblique injuries is in baseball. And those guys always come back after like 4 games and then wind up missing a month because they get re-injured. So that's really the only knowledge I have.
Or with Ken Walker. That's his second oblique injury.
That was the same. Yeah.
Less than a year.
So Uncle Rico has a question for us. Thank you for the super chat. What's up, fellas? Roster review team. I have a top 3 team with CMC, Swift, Kamara, Ramondre. I want to move RB value. I have an offer where I get a late first for Swift, but he goes to another top team. The problem is that even if I get a first, there's no one willing to give up a top 12 wide receiver. The best I can do is Nico range. Scott, what do you think here?
I want to address this question because we get this type of question all the time. So Uncle Rico is basically saying he has a great team. He also knows he's overexposed at running back and wants to get rid of them, but is scared of trading away the one that he probably can get a first for. You're probably not trading McCaffrey because you're not getting what he's worth, and you're probably not getting a first for Ramondre or Alvin Kamara. So Swift is the one that the person has landed on as somebody they're willing to move a late first for. So right now you've already acknowledged you're overexposed.
Yep.
But you're trading him to a team that is another contender, and you're scared to move him to another contender because he's going to a team that's going to be competing with me. But you're already saying I have a problem. You know what I mean? Like, so it's, you got to make the decision, and too many people pull back and say, I'm not helping this other team. But is it guaranteed that DeAndre Swift is helping this other team? He could, but it's not a guarantee. It's not like you're trading away your odds at the championship here.
You're a top 3 team. Yeah. Get a second. Get a 25 second somehow.
I'm just saying back. If all you can get is a first, I have no problem taking the first. And the goal with the first is not to go and try to trade it for a top 12 receiver. It is to just give it another week. We don't know when his trade deadline is, but I'm liquidating a running back here because it's not changing my outlook on whether I'm going to win or not. My top 3 team is either going to perform or it's not. Have the discipline to make that move. Take the pick.
Okay, let's put this one up from Dan. Thank you for the super chat. 12-team Superflex PPR, no tight end premium, start 10. Turn down Burrow, Goddard, and a mid. Excuse me, let me reread. Turn down Burrow, Goddard, a mid to late 24 first, and 25 first for my Mahomes and Kincaid. Mistake?
I mean, I think this is one of those, Shane, if you're out of it.
I'm keeping Mahomes.
If you're out of it, do you take this deal? In a no tight end premium, do I really give a shit about Kincaid and Goddard?
I give a hoot about Kincaid because I think he's probably going to be one of the 4 tight ends, 5 tight ends, might expand to like 7 tight ends that matter in fantasy football. It looks like it's a bonanza class, right? With him, Laporte, and all them, whatever.
I will bet against that. No way 7 matter.
Well, you're not an optimist like
the last decade of data says it's not going to happen. Kincaid could be one, I agree, but it's not going to be 7. It's still going to be 3 or 4 at best. So I'm considering this. Especially if I'm not contending.
I'm swatting you away.
It's just, how bad is the rest of my roster? You know what I mean? Like, is my roster so holy that I basically need to make a move like this to reconstruct it? You know what I mean? If I have Pat Mahomes and I'm not competing, my roster is probably not great, is what I'm thinking. So I'd at least consider it, but it's really going to depend upon what my roster looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Clay, is that a team where you can probably bleed the other manager knowing you're bailing them out of Burrow? They're already putting 2 firsts on the table, and they probably really want Kincaid instead of Goddard because he's also injured. Is that one where you say, throw in 2 more seconds and I'll do the deal? And they probably have to have a hard conversation with themselves about whether they're really going to let 2 future seconds block the deal when they've already offered 95% of what you're wanting.
Yeah. I think you have more leverage to ask for more, but maybe not like more picks. Maybe somehow a player is worked into it, even if you take out a first. But can you get another good piece for it? But yes, I wouldn't be done there necessarily. Losing my voice. Okay, let's go to YouTube user. Am I blue pilled for not wanting to trade away Stroud and the 24-101 for Mahomes? Everyone in the league thinks I'm an idiot. I mean, ignorance is bliss, right? I'm not giving up Stroud and the 101 for Mahomes. There's no need to.
Yeah, CJ Stroud is the 3rd or 4th overall valued player in Dynasty and has outperformed Mahomes this year. And you're adding the 101. That just feels like one of those deals where it's all name value, but Who in your league that is giving you shit in the chat is jumping to take that deal? It feels like if I have both of those pieces, that's not what I'm wanting to do with them. Let's just put it that way.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll say this. Someone that's saying that you're stupid for not wanting to take that, or for not wanting to take that offer, a double negative, whatever. For wanting to hold on to Stroud in the 101, if they think you're stupid, then they're not. They can't adjust in real time. So I really won't worry about what they're thinking.
I have Pat Mahomes on 10 teams. I will take that in any of the leagues. Any of the 10.
Yes.
You offer me that deal, I'll take it.
You won't even look at the standings or anything. Yes, done. Yeah. Okay. Tony America. Thank you for the question. Definitely the first question from Tony America. That's awesome. Looking to start up first dynasty next season. Yes, you should. Done research, and without posting my whole league constitution, looking to start a 12-team Superflex PPR, 1.5 for tight end, start 10. Looking at 3 wide receivers, 2 flex, 6 point per passing touchdown, -4 interception. Any changes, thoughts? I'll jump in real quick here. I would like to start at start 11. 12-team Superflex start 11 is my personal favorite. I do like 6 point per passing touchdown. I don't like -4. I just don't like -4. Make it -2 or -3. Go ahead. That's it from me for now.
Yeah. Just give me some PPC. Give me some PPC. Look, I like forcing you to
point per carry for anyone who doesn't know that.
I like forcing people to decide if they want to use a running back, or at least give them that option, that if they want to build a different way by going through running backs, because there's a point per carry. They know it's risky, but the upside is that it's a point per carry. So I like adding that to every league I'm in. And points per first down, I really like those now too.
Yeah, I really like those too. Yeah. Scott, what are your thoughts on that?
I would just add start 10, start 9, start 11, whatever you want to do. Just make sure the number of total spots lines up with your starters. Don't do a start 10 with 35 roster spots and a 5-man taxi. You're just going to kill the market. Too many players on rosters, not enough players that people actually want to trade for. So just make sure I always say like 35 to 40% of your starters should make up your total roster spots. So in start 10, 27-man rosters, 26, something like that seems good. If you add a starter, bump it back to 28 to 30.
Good stuff. Braden Pape, I'm putting this up because he said, finally able to catch my first live stream. Sent a trade question earlier today. Let's go. Welcome to the stream. Glad you could make it. It's awesome.
100%. I could not find that trade question.
Oh, bummer. But thank you for the kind words. So let's put this up from Ryan. He says, happy Thanksgiving to the best fantasy show on YouTube. Thanks for grinding for us. Hey, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for that super chat. Yes. Best fantasy show. Those are your words, but you're the best subs on freaking YouTube. That's for damn sure.
That's good stuff, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank
you, sir. Okay, let's go on to our next one here. How are we doing? 58 minutes in, 380 eyeballs. Thank you for joining. Okay, this divorce one I'm going to read up there at some point here. Alyssa, thank you for the question. 14-team Superflex, 2.0 for tight ends, start 12. I'm 11-0, lost Andrews. Inbox offer, trade T-Law, Andrews, and a 24 first for Purdy and Kincaid. I have Allen and Hurts already. Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Thank you.
Wow, so we had T-Law, Allen, and Hurts on our roster. And we were probably just kind of playing probably Allen and Hurts every week thus far. I don't hate this. I don't hate it. I think Kincaid for Andrews is fair. You probably have to add a tax. T-Law for Purdy is tough, but it's my third QB. Then I do add Kincaid with Josh Allen on an 11-0 team. It's steep. But I can see where you're real happy that this team. Yeah, that's what I mean. It's real.
Yeah.
I can see where you're real happy you did this deal because you maintain Kincaid could put up 20 a game in this format, and you have the stack. So this may be the price. I would love this deal if I was out of it and I have Purdy and Kincaid. I'm getting a smash other side, but
right.
What do you think, Shane? Is this too much, or is this a screw it? I'm going for it.
I'm assuming it's his 24 first because he doesn't mention otherwise. or she. Sorry,
This
Alyssa.
is Alyssa.
Yeah, of all times for me to space out, but sorry, Alyssa. Yeah, I would do this. I'm assuming it's her first, and if it is, or another late first, yeah, I'll do this.
14 team. Yeah.
I mean,
Where do you draw the line on that first, Shane? If it's a non-playoff first, are you still doing it?
No.
Might be the only one you have.
Yeah, no. Then no. Then I'll figure out another way to backfill the tight end position. Hopefully, maybe I can go get David Njoku real cheap. Apparently, he's going to be targeted 45 times a game now.
Give me Logan Thomas.
Let me ask this. Does Andrews in the first just get Kincaid?
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't agree with the value here. Yes, you want those Kincaid points, a 2.0 tight end premium. But yeah, Andrews in a first for Kincaid. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it as is. I just think T-Law is better than Purdy by more than that.
Oh, see, I was actually, some of that first was for the upgrade from Purdy, from T-Law to Purdy.
I'm not there. I'm not there yet.
That's an upgrade. It is.
Come on.
It is.
Maybe it is.
I mean, just look at their points. It is. It just is.
Does it matter? Here's the thing. You're never starting Purdy on that team. You have Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts. So you're going to take Purdy into the offseason, and you're going to take Trevor Lawrence into the offseason. If I was using them, I could understand. But you're essentially paying, and don't shoot me, but you're paying to downgrade your QB3 from a market perspective.
Mm-hmm.
People will want Trevor Lawrence over Brock Purdy after the end of this year. I almost guarantee it. And you're not going to use that QB3. So that's why I said Andrews in the first for Kincaid. Don't swap the QBs. If they would have done the deal otherwise, why wouldn't they do that, right?
Yeah.
I love that. Andrews in the first for Kincaid.
So you're with me, Clay. Just remove the T-Law Purdy swap out of there and just leave it as it is.
And Alyssa, they just happen to both be wrong because Purdy's going to be higher valued by the end of this year than Trevor.
Doesn't mean he should be. I'm just saying that it's going to take a lot for that to happen, I think, to where it's just a consensus. Give me Purdy over T-Law.
I don't know. I've been told that we can help move the needle. People have told us that. I'm going to work to move that needle, baby.
Shane, you're moving the needle. Let's go.
I'm trying to move the needle.
We don't.
So any guys, if you're watching, let me know if I've moved your needle at all.
That's on DIDIT.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Download the DIDIT app. More to come on that. Sick promo video to come on that. Liam nailed his first take. We only had a couple back and forth. Okay, 12 teams start 8 plus kicker and defense. Well, that can be minus kicker and defense for next season. Have the 101 and 324 first, 325 first, and 4 and 26. Purdy, Levis, DJ Moore, Musgrave, Michael Mayer. Give Trevor Lawrence, get Garrett Wilson, Downs, and an early second. It's a full PPR, no tight end premium. I have all 3 of Villains, 24 to 26 first. Do I ask for DK instead to make his 24 pick better? He's 5 and 6, but a decent team. Okay, so going back to the trade, 12 teams start 8.
Is it a super flex? It's got to be.
I guess because he's naming Levis.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, let's assume it's super, but super flex doesn't typically have kicker and defense, right?
Some do.
Okay.
We got to clarify because if it's not a super flex, then it's a slam dunk deal. I don't know why someone would give up that for Trevor Lawrence in a non super flex.
Yeah,
but I assume it is super flex.
Yeah.
Man, you know what? I'm not in a super flex. I'm not giving up Trevor Lawrence for Garrett Wilson. But I mean, Josh Downs in an early second and a start 8 don't really move the needle either. And I'd rather, I know Shane doesn't like Trevor Lawrence. I'd rather have Lawrence and Purdy with all those picks next year than be forced to fix QB when I know it's not available, especially if I'm not winning or I'm not contending and I'm kind of building for next year. Why? I get it. You have the 101, but who would you rather have? Marvin Harrison and Trevor Lawrence or Caleb Williams and Garrett Wilson?
I don't know.
But the point is, then why do the deal?
Mhm.
You know what I mean? You're set up the same either one, and I don't think the other pieces move the needle. So I'm just keeping what I have.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, let's keep rolling here. We have Brian S with the super chat. Thank you. 10 team start 10, 1 QB, PPR, gave DK Metcalf a mid 24 first, a late 24 first for Amon-Ra, an early 24 second. So what do you think about that one first? Because there's another trade here.
10 by 10, 1 QB, DK mid first, late first. Don't care about the picks.
For Amon-Ra,
Picks are only as good as what
24
you can do
second.
with the picks here. So I mean, I guess you paid a pretty penny for an upgrade here. Is Amon-Ra guaranteed an upgrade over DK Metcalf?
I wouldn't say
Enough where this is where you'd want to spend your picks, or would you have rather tried to add instead of throwing DK in that deal and just trying to get the best you can get for those two first?
Yeah, I think Amon-Ra is worth that, but that early 24 second would have to be liquid in my league. My league would have to like pick, so I wouldn't be done.
I mean, if
yet.
a late first isn't liquid, then maybe the early second and the late first are almost treated as the same kind of thing in a 10 team, right? That could be the 109 and the 113, you know what I mean? Or the 203, and it's the 9th pick and the 13th pick. So maybe those are closer together. So I gave up DK and a mid first for Amon-Ra. 1 QB, you doing that, Shane?
Yes, you absolutely fucking, excuse my French, you absolutely smashed that. You absolutely smashed that. I can't believe
something about that question triggered Shane because he paid attention very quickly.
Because we're debating it like it's a question. One is a legitimate elite wide receiver, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's a guy that I've always had a blind spot for, but he's legitimately a top 6 dynasty wide receiver. For DK Metcalf, who, I don't know, what are we hoping? He can be a high-end wide receiver too if we really squint hard. I know he's got a fabulous chest and his nipples are rock hard. But, dude, this is not even a contest. For a late first and a mid wide receiver 2, more likely a wide receiver 3, I'm getting a top 6 wide receiver. Bro, give me that all day.
So let's go to
his nails purple, too.
He paints his nails
Metcalf
purple.
Paints his nail purples, yep. It's actually kind of a cool look.
Yeah, so gave Komet for a 24 second is the second part. That sounds good to me. No tight end premium was mentioned. It's probably good either way. Herbert, Love, Pollard, Henry, Jones, Cans, AJ Brown, T. Higgins, Wilson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, McLaurin, Addison, and Schultz. Has 224 firsts. One is 40 points away from the 101. Come on, baby. Other top 3. 324 seconds, 25 first, 2 seconds. Any suggestions? Trying to sell running backs. Okay, so going back to his team here. Don't worry about those trades. Herbert, Love at QB, Pollard, Henry, Aaron Jones, Cans. Go ahead. You can read.
I mean,
Shane can.
It's too broad.
He's pretty thin at running back, assuming he doesn't have a bunch of. I mean, if his cans are really, really large and he's got a ton of them on his bench, then maybe. I don't know what he can get for his running backs that he has. Maybe you can sell Tony Pollard. He had a touchdown this week finally. Maybe you can sell him. But yeah, I'm probably just stuck riding those running backs, and I've already accepted those are going to be the 2 that I'm going to ride. So maybe what would you add on here, Shane? Who would you sell? Would you sell T. Higgins? Can you add a first to T. Higgins and get an upgrade? Can you add a first to Jordan Addison and get an upgrade? Those are probably the spots I'd be willing to sell.
Yeah, I've been trying Jordan Addison. I talked about this. I traded Jordan Addison and Romeo Dubs for Brandon Ayuk. If I could do something like that, yeah, dude. Just if Addison's going to make someone have the vapors like that, just to add a little tiny piece, I would definitely try that.
Yeah. Any quick other suggestion for tips to do with this team? Higgins, you actually just brought up a thought of mine. Is that good for now?
Yeah.
Herbert and Love at QB. It's 1 QB, so that's perfect.
Yeah, I don't care. Go to the old guys. Go to the Diggs. Go to the Tyreeks. Go see if you can throw a Higgins in a first and get one of those guys if they're on a team that's in the middle or headed towards the bottom.
And here, look, if you want to funsies, just take a risk. Go see if you can get Cooper Kupp for a second to see if he comes back healthy.
Yeah. Why not? 1 QB.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Lorenzo here. Gave us a super sticker. I don't see anything starred. 905, Shane. Can you try to bird dog that if there was anything?
No, that's unfortunate. You got to put your words in your stickers.
All right, I'll leave that one starred. Brandon, thank you for the super chat. Our friends up in Canada. We actually have a lot of Canadian subscribers, and then after that, it's the UK, and then Germany and Australia. But it's pretty cool to see the analytic breakdown. Okay, trade Andrews for a wide receiver. Which tier is Devontae too high? 10-team start 11, super flex, half PPR, full PPR for tight ends. Mahomes, Lamar, Baker at QB, Bijan, Saquon, Eckler, AJ Brown, Ayuk, Diggs, Pittman, Higgins, Flowers, OBJ makes a list. Kelsey, Andrews, 2 top 4, 24 firsts. Is there a second part here? Nope. Okay. Trade Andrews for a wide receiver. Which tier is Devontae Smith too high? Yeah, you're not going to be able to get Devontae Smith for Mark Andrews right now.
Not coming off a 6 for 99, but if you would have
Mhm.
tried for him 4 weeks ago and he had like 1 for 20, maybe. I don't know that it's too high. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna let the person reject it for me. Why is Devontae too high? Devontae's a wide receiver 3 this year. You know, he's had 2 nice games, 99 receiving yards in 2 of his last 3 games, but there's no reason not to try that.
Yeah, I like his idea of trying to get a different position for Andrews because he has Kelsey as well, and he has those picks. But if you're accepting, I think, way too little for Andrews to where you're almost putting yourself outside of the range that you care about the player you're getting, then I'm fine keeping Andrews because there's a chance, like Shane said, that Kelsey's gone in a year and you still have Andrews. You know, you kind of have that backup at a potential elite tight end. What I don't want to do is go, man, I traded away Andrews. Kelsey goes away, and now I have to go get another tight end when you had 2 of them, you know? So it's kind of like got to establish a reserve or a price floor on the receiver you're going to take. And if you get anything at that range, take it. But anything lower, I'm fine holding Andrews. Normally, I'd say just get rid of him if we're in a deeper league. But here, I don't think you need to do it.
Yep. Okay. And Shane found Lorenzo's super chat. Thank you very much, Shane, for bird dogging that. 12-team super flex, start 10 PPR, 1.5 for tight ends, 6 point per passing touchdown, best ball. Trade away Kyler, JSN, and Tank Dell for Russ, AJ Brown, and Jacoby Myers.
No. Nope. 6 point per passing touchdown. I'm taking Kyler over Russ pretty easily, and then it's best ball.
I like this. I like the Kyler side a lot more.
It's best ball. I mean, I get it. AJ Brown's a hammer, but it's best ball. So at the margins of where the hammer comes in play, I think is a little bit lower. So I'm good passing on this.
Yeah, and more, just more liquid assets on the Kyler side too, or we hope. Okay,
Here, I'm gonna highlight one because while you were talking about best ball, it made me think of something. Start. There we go. Someone in here said something about a roster review. They're gonna have to nut up and get one.
Yeah.
Oh, here you go. I just need to hammer up and get me a roster review. Yes, we have several types of roster reviews. There's the Me and Scott Classic where you go live with us. There's the Heisman one that we did with Uncle Rico last week, which was a lot of fun. Then there's the peer-to-peer ones that you do with Ty and Kanja. So they're all very great. They're all very awesome. I would say now's a great time to get a roster review. Hit up something.
Yeah. Exactly. The call to action. Yeah. Don't give them the call to action, but go to dynastytradesand5.com/roster review, and you can see those 3 types of reviews you can get: the peer-to-peer, the live with Shane and Scott, and the Heisman review. We're going to do a 25% off discount on roster reviews for this week through this week. So email roster review at dynastytradesand5.com. Or go to the website and you can contact us from there as well. Shane, you really need to say something. Go ahead.
And also, per our last roster review, or because of our last roster review, I decided that I am going to get into our best ball listener league when we launch that next year, so I can speak a little more confidently about actual processes and stuff in best ball.
Good. Shane's iPad fund. Thank you, AB, for the super chat. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, now we need super chats for his iPad.
That's very generous.
No, thank you.
Someone called it an eye shuffle earlier. I remember eye shuffles.
Shane, did you ever have an iPod?
No, I never had
You never
any.
did?
This is the first
So
Apple
you've
thing.
avoided everything your entire life.
I've always been Android. Always been Android.
You said you hate everything. Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's very sheepish. Android is very individualistic. It allows you to do fun things like get malware on your phone. It allows you to brick your phone when you try to go in and mess with the ROMs and flash some ROMs and stuff. You can't do that with an iPhone. You know, the exhilaration there is of destroying a $900 phone because you wanted to play around with it and make it just go a little faster. You can't do that with an iPhone.
And my wife has worked in the government for since I've known her, and they
Mhm.
always just give away Androids.
Yeah.
And you never see a government organization with iPhones. At least
No.
I haven't seen one, and she's worked for 3 or 4 since I've known her. So
It's
Well, I'll
always
say that-
PCs and Androids.
The level above me in management at my job, right above me, they get iPads. Below that, and iPhones. Low, right at me though. I'm right at the cutoff. I still get the crappy these are the J300s that we sell in India for $5 for $1. But
so
yeah,
above you gets an iPad, below
Right
you gets
above
an
me.
iPhone. What if you just declined
No,
all of
no.
them?
No. Above me gets the iPhone and
Ouch.
iPad. I get Android. So if I move up, I'd be forced to.
Well, let's go, Shane.
further
Get out of the
integrate.
freaking green bubble,
Integrate.
people. All right, let's move on. Dylan, we have one start from Dylan here. 1 of 2, 14 team, 1 QB, start 8. I'm second in the league and I'm trying to push for a title. Let's go. I recently traded ETN in Hollywood for Keenan Allen, Swift, and Jalen Warren. Good deal. I have Kyler Baker, CMC, Jonathan Taylor, Swift, Kamara, Warren, Chase, Amon-Ra, Keenan, DK, and McBride. No picks in 24. Any more moves or just hold pat? So we'll go back here. So traded ETN in Hollywood for Keenan, Swift, and Jalen Warren. Yeah, that's a great deal. Sure turned out to be a great deal before the game this week.
Yeah, it's a great
Yeah.
deal if you've been jamming Jalen Warren in your lineup the
Yeah.
last couple weeks. That's the thing. And you make that deal and then you don't start him because it's too shallow. And then you're like, man, kind of wish I would have had Travis Etienne, even though Etienne struggled for a couple games in a row. But I'm okay with that deal. I don't really see any deals that you can have to make unless you're willing to go to that second part real quick, Clay.
Yeah.
I mean, Shane, you pivoting off of Jamar Chase here?
If I can, I'll try. Can I get CD Lamb? Can I get AJ Brown? You know what I mean? I've talked about this maybe last week when Joe Burrow went down, or maybe I talked about it in my head. I don't know. I talked about it on one of our shows, our AMAs, our morning drives. I don't know. We talk a lot, but I definitely said that I'm fine with moving Chase, even if I have to add a little bit to him to get AJ Brown or CD Lamb right now if I'm making a push for a playoff run.
Do we have too much running back equity here? I kind of feel like running backs in his league maybe a little valued higher than we typically do. Do we have too many here?
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you look down at your roster and you're like, yeah, man, I'm freaking stacked at running back,
It could go south real quick.
Yeah, right.
Which ones? I mean, it's start 8, so I already see a crunch. Like, all right, who am I starting this week?
I think outside of CMC, you could justify all 4 of the next tier kind of in the same range. I mean, JT is going to have more value, but I don't need the other 4. Right. I probably only need 3 of those. I don't need 5. So I mean, I'd be totally fine throwing. Could you throw Jalen Warren in a deal with Jamar Chase and go get anybody you want? Could you get Justin Jefferson back? Although he may not play for another 3 more weeks, so that's a tough one as well.
After week 14 or something, right?
Yep.
Well, yeah, and if people keep harassing him on Twitter, he's never going to come back, apparently, or Instagram, wherever they're harassing the poor guy. Leave him alone.
He'll take the harassing. He will take that. Okay. Tehran Clout, thank you for the super chat. 12 teams, start 10, super flex, half PPR, full PPR for tight ends. It's a toilet bowl league. Play against a league median, so it's 9 and 13 is the record. K1, which is Kyler, Watson, Dobbs, AK-41, Jerome Ford, Keaton, Cup, Puka, Zay, Tank, Amari, Hollywood, Bateman, Hawkinson, and Komet. 624 first, 4 firsts in 2025, 3 in 2026, and 3 seconds. What should I do to push for the ship or the toilet bowl victory?
Ooh. a good problem to have, having this many assets. He's 9-13. What are the odds he makes the playoffs? I guess we don't really know, right?
Yeah, we don't
I
see
mean,
the
so
standings.
So you're basically a game under 500, right? With the median score, when you look at it that way, you're
4 games under 500.
no, you're a game under.
It
9
would take
and
at least 2
14.
weeks to get to 500, Jane.
2 weeks.
And there's only 3 weeks left in the season.
All right, then push for the toilet bowl championship.
Unless he says the 6th seed is at 10-12 right now or something like that, then or some of our leagues, the 6 or 5 seed gets in on points, something like that. I mean, if you can realistically make the playoffs, but if you have to go 6-0 and you need 2 teams to go 3-3 or worse, then I'm probably not buying for the playoffs. I'll buy for the toilet bowl though. Like I'm fine consolidating a couple pieces. I'd be fine. Do we know if he's a trade deadline?
He didn't mention trade deadline, so
there's no trade deadline. I'm kind of sitting here going, all right, I'll just take the number 1 seed in the toilet bowl, and then I'll buy once I see, a team that's fallen out of it or something like that. Then I'll throw a first around and try to win that toilet bowl.
Yep.
Yeah, try to win the toilet bowl, but also try to liquidate a couple assets that aren't going to be worth crap in the off season. It's fun to navigate the toilet bowls. Okay, but it sucks at the same time. All right, let's do this one real quick. Noah Mayers, value check on Jordan Addison real quick. Shane, are you giving a 24-second projected mid and a random 25-second for Jordan Addison?
Oh, you're not even, you'll get laughed at. People will throw things at
you. So you would very easily pay 2 seconds.
All going to laugh at you if you send that offer. Don't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Yeah, I think our scope on this, Clay, is probably, I think right now I would say he is the most polarizing valued player in Dynasty. I mean, he is right now, he is wide receiver 10 in keep trade cut. So he is ahead of Devontae Smith, Puka Nacua, Brandon Ayuk, Stephon Diggs.
I like
You're not
him,
getting those guys for a second. So I mean, he's overvalued, but I know we all know his real market is nowhere close to what that KTC value says, but definitely more than 2 seconds.
Yeah, it's tough with guys like Addison and Zay Flowers and all. I like them both, but you wonder, it's like, do I need to spend 2 seconds to go get this, player who's not going to score 1 million points, or should I just hold those assets and do it for something else? Like, are they just going to be another guy, like a million other Jordan Addisons and Zay Flowers out there?
Here's the trio of questions I asked myself. Shane, is Jordan Addison destined to smash the rest of the way? Yes or no?
No.
Does he have a better receiver on his roster for the foreseeable future? Yes or no?
Slightly. Yeah, slightly.
Is he guaranteed to have a good quarterback or even an average quarterback for the next couple of years? Yes or no?
No.
So the fact that all 3 of those are no, not saying he can't be a top 24 receiver, but he feels a lot like he's just going to settle in that, okay, he's a wide receiver too. And in certain weeks, you're going to go, I don't even want him. He's going to be a dead zone receiver, but there's going to be some value that stays just because of where he came from. But wide receiver 10 is crazy. I'm going to ask you, Clay, which of these receivers would you take right now for Addison? Devontae Smith. Puka. Ayuk. Diggs.
If I'm competing, give me that one's close. That's the line right there for me, I think. If I'm competing,
DK,
I'll take
JSN, Zay Flowers. Do you really see the difference between any of those guys? Like, are you kind of good with the one you have?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. There you go. That's Jordan Addison.
Kooksky in there talking about Addison is the Slim Reaper. No, that is Devontae Smith. He that is his title. Okay, you can call Jordan Addison some other name, but that ain't.
But apparently, he's valued ahead of him already. So
yeah, but dude, I mean, he had a few monster games there where it just steamed up his value. And what's funny is since then he's been average. He's been good for a rookie. But in context of wide receiver 10, he hasn't been that. But it's that fake value that Ray always talks about. Because I've tried to move Addison. I've tried to move Addison straight up for Olave. Just he's outscoring him. I say, he's the wide receiver 10. I don't know what Olave is right on KTC. Just said, let me see it. Not even a counter, which means 8. To me, 8. Yeah. So if I don't even get a counter, that means it's not even close.
Would you go for Flowers or JSN?
I think I still like Flowers more.
That's my point is, if you say those three names, do you really care which one you have?
Well, yeah, no.
So there you go.
Okay, let's do a hammer hat giveaway. So hashtag hammer in the comments. We'll get a giveaway tool going. Hashtag hammer. The next one. So I've sent out some stuff for sure. I've got two more that are going to be going out. Graphic 13, Keegan. So yeah, hashtag hammer. We'll get you one as well. Okay, so we're getting close to the end here. It's pretty efficient stream, guys. I think. Let's make it inefficient for a second. Greg Norton had said earlier, Shane has divorce attorney energy. Whenever someone asks if they should give up on Tyreek Hill, I'm with Shane on this one. I am too, man. I'm not giving up on Tyreek Hill. He can smazash on my team.
It's just, you know what, because it's a couple of the fallacies in dynasty football, right? It's like, oh, well, I'm playing for the next 15 years. Well, no, you're not. You're really not. Like, even if you were, you're playing it horribly wrong because you have no idea what's going to happen next year, let alone 3 years from now. So the fact that he's going to retire in 2 years after this season, I could care less. Give me 2 more seasons of this, and if he just walks off into the sunset, I'm okay. We talked about this on, I don't know, somewhere, our AMA or Manic and Chill. I don't know where we talked about it, but it's not coincidence that every team I have Tyreek Hill, like my worst team is 4th, but I'm tied for 2nd. Like, it's not a coincidence. It's really not.
Yeah. I mean, he's still doing freaking backflips and stuff. Just watch him play football.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sell windows from now until when he retires. Noah Smith, Paul asks, was a contender now slipping but playoff bound? 8-man, 1 QB, 3 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 3 flex, and a super flex. Okay, so that's 4, 7, 10. Start 11, 12. 2 late 24 firsts, 2 24 seconds, 4 firsts in 2025, and 4 seconds as well. T-Law, Howell, Gino at quarterback, CMC, Pacheco, Javante, Etienne, Achan at running back, wide receivers, Cup, Flowers, Puka, Diojon, Addison, Dotson, Dubs, and McBride. Move 2 firsts, Howell and Achan for Hurts and thirds. Other moves?
2 firsts, Hal, Achan for Hurts, thirds. How many starters?
It's an 8 by 12.
1 quarterback.
It's 8 by 12.
8 teams start 12.
Yeah, it's a super flex. But it's a 12 by 8, except for the scarcity is not as high. So really, you're paying a lot for the hammer, but you're getting a hammer and a start 8.
Yeah, give me Hurts. And it sounds like just first, he didn't mention 24 or 25, but he's got so many picks. If Noah can get right back into contending, got a lot of first to play with. So
and you got to think about it. A third in an 8 team is pick 18, 19. You know what I mean? It's not. It could be a usable player. It's not what you probably think of a third as. So it's probably a little more valuable there. So yeah, I'm fine doing that deal.
Yep. Okay. We have an inbox offer. Cassius Carter. Guys, I need help ASAP. I got an inbox offer. I trade DK and the current 106, which is trending down to the 104, 105 for Garrett Wilson. I'm in 3rd place. He's in 1st place. It's a 12-team Superflex PPR start 9. Shane, you were paying attention during that whole time. What you got?
It's his 106, I assume?
No. He's in 3rd. The other guy's in 1st. So somebody else's pick.
Well, this is like,
let's assume it's the 105.
Like a word problem. Why did he give us a word
the 105?
Problem? I'll appreciate the word problem. Let's assume it's the 105. Yeah, I'll make that deal.
Not doing it.
Yeah. All right. You want Keon?
Start 9. Garrett Wilson doesn't help me any more than DK Metcalf. I'm fine keeping the 105.
I gotta go look up the war. It's Cassius. Can you send me your league ID? I want to go look up the war on Garrett Wilson and DK Metcalf. I got a feeling that Garrett Wilson's helping me more. Even
Garrett Wilson in a start 9 is not helping me much on war because he's right outside the threshold. That's all.
I'm gonna need to see your league
send
ID.
Shane the war. I want to see Shane run the war and analyze it. Let's send Shane the war. Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll revisit it on our next live stream. 408 people still in here. We are done with the starred items. Thank you so much for joining. I wish we could hit a lot more questions as always, right?
Did we get, there's 2 more in there. Are you not seeing them?
I'm not seeing them. I'm not seeing them. Are there?
Did we?
They're not in there. I don't see them.
Greg, we haven't done this one though. I haven't read Michael May or Myers. Okay, that's weird. I don't see it.
Is that weird, Clay? I don't see him either.
Yeah.
Only Shane does.
Yeah. What is this?
Shane, you got to drive. Go ahead.
So this means, you know what this means?
I'll read.
People need to start Venmoing me directly to get their questions answered. Inbox offer. 12 teams, start 10, Superflex, PPR, tight end premium. I made it to tight end premium. Currently in first place and most points for, but have no 24 picks. If I make this trade, give DJ Moore, Michael Mayer, Myers, Spears, 23rd, get Kelsey, Kamara, and OBJ, who has smashed a little bit the last few weeks. No 24 picks. You're already in first.
I'm okay with it. You're giving up DJ Moore and Michael Mayer for Kelsey and Kamara. I don't care about Spears and OBJ.
So just a real fun fact about DJ Moore. Do you know that he's got 6 or 7 games with Justin Fields? He's got over 24% target share. In 3 games, he has over a 40, or excuse me, in 3 games, he has 4 games, he has over a 30% target share. And in 2 games, he has an over 40% target share.
He's performing like Stephon Diggs-ish.
Yeah, but I can see getting Kelsey, Kamara, and OBJ. The problem is if you don't win it this year, you've landlocked your team. You have no outs because you got a bunch of old dudes and no picks. So I think I'm probably going to be a coward and just hold on to DJ Moore and Michael Mayer. Your body is a wonderland.
Can we get Kelsey for Michael Mayer and Tajay Spears?
Let's try that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, I'm going to hide this one and then bring up the last one that only I can see.
I'll read it from. Thank you, Shane. What is this that only you could see? You have the power. Thank you, Dio Jones, for the super chat. 12-team Superflex, start 10, half PPR. Quarterbacks are Dak, Anthony Richardson, Sean Watson. Running backs, Bijan, Aaron Jones, short list. Wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek, Allen, DK, Adams, Ridley, Hollywood. At tight end, Kelsey Musgrave has 424 first.
Elon?
What did I say? Oh, yeah. Trade.
There's no K. That's funny. There's no K in Luke Musgrave.
Yeah.
But he calls him Musk.
Musk and Reek and Lamb with no B. Trade for cheap running back and play Ridley / Hollywood in the Superflex, or try A-Rich plus 2 firsts for Gibbs and Lamar. Ooh.
All I can think of is Elon Musk is on the Lamb. That's all I can think of. All right. So trading for cheap running backs, A-Rich and 2 firsts. Yeah, man. That's getting rid of a lot of your flexibility, but you're bailing on a player that's out for the year, and you're turning picks into a potential difference-making running back, and you just lost Aaron Jones. So
I'm good with that.
I'd be fine with it.
Gibbs, Lamar.
Yep. Shane, you doing it?
I'm just dumbfounded that this is even a question. Yes, I'm doing this. The way I look at
don't
this,
ask Shane. Those picks would have been. Shane wouldn't have had the picks at this point. That deal would have been done as soon as Richardson went down.
It's A-Rich and a pick for Lamar, and then it's a pick for Gibbs. And I've already exempted Gibbs from my hatred of running backs. So yeah, I'd smash that all day.
Okay, so
Shane,
just
take a screenshot.
That's not going to happen. If someone could say that,
okay, there's no way in hell that's going to happen.
For
hashtag hammer to get in the hammer giveaway in a second. And then also, before I forget, so I had it tied to a email address that I wasn't even seeing. We got a buy me a coffee donation from Kevin from Ireland a few weeks ago. It was much appreciated. Great note behind it. And same thing yesterday, Golden Face Nick James gave us a buy me a coffee as well. So thank you very much for doing that. Okay. Hashtag hammer giveaway. We are going to do that. Oh, look at this. Look at this. You got us ready.
I teed it up for you, Clay. Go ahead.
I didn't star it. It's freaking going right now. It's already done, isn't it? Nope, almost. Liam Hickey. I hit it early. It made it less fun. I'm gonna draw it again. So Liam and next person. Email.
So Liam Hickey gets one. I'd hate to see his
Yes.
name up there and then you take it away.
No,
you
Liam
didn't man the
Hickey.
controls good
No,
enough.
100%. Yeah,
Okay.
Liam Hickey and next person. Email Clay at dynastytradesin5.com and we will get you a hat. And for everybody else, check out the site. It's in our description. We got some sick stuff in there. Okay, let's draw again. Let's see who's going to win this second hat here.
Come on, Dynasty Trades in 5. Come on.
Cameron H. Same thing. Email Clay at dynastytradesin5.com and we'll get you and Liam some hats. Okay, rock on. Stop sharing that.
Hey, we're getting a little silly because it's almost time to leave, so I'm just going to share this one. Evan Ory's closing out season 1 against his students. That's really cool, and it's going well. But Noah Myers is one of his students in that league, and he's here now, so only give him Shane's life advice from here on out. Like I forget what grade you teach. I don't even know if Evan's.
It was like first grade. It was youngsters, right? Isn't this the teacher who does it like his first or second graders?
I don't remember if it's first or second graders. Please don't ever let them watch me ever. I wasn't even allowed to talk to my kids until they hit the 4th grade.
Are you allowed on school grounds again, or no? Still virtual?
Middle school's fine. High school, they're a little.
Oh, man.
All right, that's
nice
a good time.
Nice comment to end it on right there.
That's a good one to end it on. Appreciate the 394 folks in here. Go ahead and hit that like if you'd be so kind, and join our patreon.com/allgas. Join our tier. Join us for the live AMAs, the drives with Shane and Scott. We just have awesome conversation in there all day, as much as you can eat Dynasty. So patreon.com/allgas. Guys, we're out of here. I'm going to end this stream. Appreciate it.